Good morning, everybody. I hope you are not too angry. Because as I'm getting older, it takes time for me to switch from French to English, and I hope you can understand me. But first of all, I would like to thank very much all the people in charge of this symposium for the invitation, because it's a great pleasure and an honor to be here. The area is very pretty, and I appreciate it a lot. So, I'm not sure to be very tasty or racy, because the translation in French is is a little bit tricky. And so, Glenn asked me to talk, to give you a presentation with the title Overview of a Sauvignon Blanc Varietal. So, I will talk first about the name of the variety. And just to point out that in France, we just call Sauvignon. So on the bottle, coming from France, usually it's only Sauvignon. But in most of the Anglo-Saxon countries, you call this variety Sauvignon Blanc. And I think you are right, because there is some color variation which may exist within this variety. And especially, you can find some Sauvignon Gris with a synonym of Sauvignon Rose, but the color is more gray than pink. And so it's more clear, I think, to call the Sauvignon Blanc. The Sauvignon Rouge or Sauvignon Violet, which is a synonym of Sauvignon Rouge or red, exists also, but it's not used for the moment. By the past, some people make some differentiation between the Gros Sauvignon or Sauvignon Vert or green and Petit Sauvignon or Sauvignon Yellow. But actually, this distinction were due to the terroir, to the sanitary status of the plant. So actually, you have to consider that Gros Sauvignon is maybe more fertile than Petit Sauvignon, but it's not due to the genetic, but due to the soil or to the virus, for instance. So the real synonyms of Sauvignon are the following one. So we already talked about Blanc Fumé or Fumé Blanc or Fumé, and it's used usually in center of France, so Pouilly, of course, and Sancerre. In Germany, you can find the name of Feigentraube, which means grape fig, or fig grapes, excuse me. In Loire-Vallée, the old synonym was Fier, but in French you can say also Fier. We will see this name later again. And you can find the name of Genetin or Genetin, also in Loire-Vallée. And in southwest of France, Pinéchou, Punéchon, and Savagnou. And finally, the last synonym is Sucrin or Surin in Val-de-Loire, but also in center of France, Massif Central, Auvergne. But there is also some of the names which can be considered like homonyms and which are sometimes confusing. And by the old time, sometimes in Loire-Vallée, Sauvignon was called Muscat, close to the town of Orléans. And it is curious to see that this synonym of Muscat is also used in Central Europe, but with the association of the name of Sylvaner, which is a totally different variety, of course. And so it can be confused. But the term of Muscat has been also used, as Nancy said before. So they introduced some Savagnin Musqué, and Musqué means Muscaté, or Muscat, and it was actually some Sauvignon. And you can see also the proximity of the words between Savagnin and Sauvignon. And some people, some Anglo-Saxon people, have sometimes some difficulty to pronounce Savagnin and Sauvignon. There is some wrong synonyms of confusing name, like Sauvignon with big berries, à gros grains in French, so in the center of France, which is actually Muscadel. Same thing for Sauvignon Vert here in US. But the Sauvignon Vert in Chile is a little bit more tricky, but it's because it corresponds to Sauvignonas, which is the Friulao, variety in north of Italy. And by the past, also the name of Sauvignon Noir has been cited, but it corresponds to totally other variety, Pardot, which is a secondary cultivar from Bordeaux, and sometimes also Cabernet Sauvignon. So nothing to do with Sauvignon Blanc. Other confusing name, sometimes Blanc Doux or Douce Blanche has been proposed like synonym of Sauvignon, but actually it was wrong. They correspond to the Muscadel. And same thing for Morillon Blanc. It was a confusion with Pinot Blanc or mostly Chardonnay, because Morillon Blanc is usually a synonym of Chardonnay. So nothing to do with Sauvignon. Same thing in southwest of France. Sometimes you can find the name of Rouchelin, but it corresponds usually to Riesling, and in very special case to Sauvignon. And finally, the last name are due to the confusion or the proximity between Savagnin again and Sauvignon. And sometimes Savagnin jaune has been used for Sauvignon, but it was Savagnin. And same thing for Sévigné, Servagnin, Servignin, Servoyen in Burgundy. All these names correspond to Savagnin and not to Sauvignon. But you can see the proximity of this name. And it is very interesting, if you look at the etymology of the name, that the Sauvignon, as Savagnin, come from the Latin salvaticus or silvaticus, which come from silva, the forest, and actually it means wild, natural, not domesticated, with a difficult character. And I presented to you before the synonym of fier, but in France you can say also fier, which means proud, and it's come from Latin ferus, which means untamed, uncontrolled, or wild again. So you can see that the two names of Sauvignon give a reference to the wild nature of the variety. And we already spoke about fumé, which means theoretically smoked, but it can mean also tainted, and it's probably due to the high presence of the bloom on the skin of the berry. I think it is important to know the roots of the cultivar, or to try to find the roots of the variety you can use. And so I did some research about that, and the first quote that I could find concerning the Sauvignon was in the book of François Rabelais, Gargantua. So it was in Loire-Vallée at the beginning of the 16th century in 1534. And so I will try to translate you, because all is in French, I'm sorry, to translate shortly what he said. It is, you can observe that you can note that it is meat from even to eat for the lunch some grapes with some fresh bread, and especially some pinot, some fier or fier, some muscado, some bican, which is an old white table grape and female variety, and some foirard. Foirard is a synonym of the famous Gouais, for the people who have some trouble with their intestine. And in the index, they make the relationship between the fier or fier and the fumé. So you can see that just at the beginning of the 16th century and the first mention of fier, they already know the relationship and the synonym between fier and fumé. So 150 years later, Jean Merlet, in his book L'Abrégé des bons fruits, described three different varieties. First, the Sauvignon, and so this is at that time the first written mention of Sauvignon in the literature. But he says that Sauvignon is a black variety, relatively big and long, early, very tasty, and one of the best. And he says that the Sauvignon Blanc has the same quality, but both varieties, Sauvignon Blanc and Noir, are relatively rare and unknown at that time. But he talked also about Génotin, and he says that it is a white grape, called also Muscat d'Orléans. So he makes a relationship between Genetin and Muscat d'Orléans, so two synonyms of Sauvignon, which is very sweet and which looks like Méliès, another old variety from center of France, or sometimes which can be called also Malvoisie Blanc. And he says that at that time it is very susceptible to blossom drop. And finally, the third variety, he describes Le Surin, so which is a synonym of Sauvignon Blanc. And he says that it is a kind of Méliès, so he sees that it is very close between Surin and Genetin. And it is more sharp or pointed with excellent taste and very estimated in Auvergne. Auvergne is in Massif Central, center of France. And it is curious because this region is a volcanic region, so the reference, a very early reference, is a reference of Surin in a volcanic region. But now the Sauvignon is not more cultivated in this area in France today. So 50 years later, so at the beginning of the 18th century, we find a manuscript from the Abbé Jules Bellay, which were doing a trip in Bordeaux. And he makes a list of a variety he met in this area. And you can see that in the cepage from Bordeaux, he found and he writes the Sauvignon and Sauvignonas as well. And close to Cadillac also, he lists the Sauvignon, which is usually grown on poor fertile soil. A few years later, so just before the French Revolution, Dupré de Saint-Maur in Bordeaux did a very large inquiry to try to list the best or the most important and the best variety, not only in Southwest, but he tried to do that in all the France, but he didn't arrive really. And you can see that at that time there was several codes concerning the Sauvignon. So the Sauvignon is very well known in Bordeaux, but also in southwest of France. And they say that it is a very good grapes, very good to eat. So several times the people say at that time that Sauvignon was used as a table grape. You see today it's clearly not a table grape, but at that time yes. And it gave a heady wine. So they say that it was very excellent and relatively well known at that time. A few years later, De Secondat, in Mémoire sur la culture des vignes de la Guyenne, says that after the Muscat, the Sauvignon is the most tasted or perfumed variety, and that's why it was called Muscat in Orléans and Genetin. And he says that the berry, the cluster are very dense, so it is a good characteristic of Sauvignon. And he says that it is at the base of the wine of Barsac, Sauternes, and he gives the best one in that case. Just at the beginning of the 19th century, the Abbé Rosier wrote a course on agriculture, and he describes the grapevine varieties with some Latin names. And he called Sauvignon Blanc Vitis serotina, what means late Vitis, with small berries, pointed berries, yellow to white, and very sweet. And he said at that time that this grape was more used by the past, and due to the low fertility and the low production, it's less used and let's grow at the beginning of the 19th century. And in precise that it was grown by the past close to Vendôme. Vendôme is a town between Orléans, Blois, and Tours. So that is to say in the middle of the Loire Valley and relatively in the north. And he says that the wine was very, very good. But at the end of this description, there is some confusion with the Chardonnay. And there is a design, but the design corresponds to the leaves of Chardonnay, so that's why I don't present it to you now. And as you can see at the end of the text, he calls the variété Morillon Blanc, but he says it's sometimes also called Sauvignon, Sucrins, Fier, and so on. So even at the beginning of the 19th century, you see, there was sometimes some confusion between the variety in France. So the Comte Oder at the middle of the 19th century precise that the variety was effectively grown close to Vendôme, and it was sometimes proposed on the table of Henri IV. And you see in France, even after the Revolution, it is always important to have a reference with the king. You see, it's always better. And so he says that, again, the Sauvignon is very well appreciated by the people who harvest, and they begin to eat before to harvest the Sauvignon Blanc. A few years later, at the end of the 19th century, Mas Sepulia, in the very important ampelography, which is called Le Vignoble, the vineyard. So this author established definitively the synonymy between Blanc Fumé, Sauvignon from Pouilly, and the Sauvignon from Gironde, so that is to say from Bordeaux. And they say that it is really the same variety. And they say also that it is very well spread in Bordeaux area, but also in southwest, and in Loire Valley, and in center of France. And he says that you can make very distinguished wine with a nice savor and a special aroma from this variety. And the last reference that I wanted to present you, so excuse me, actually, I presented to you this design of Sauvignon, and to my knowledge, this is finally the first design of a cluster of a real Sauvignon. So that is finally relatively late, in 1878. And usually you know more the representation that exists in the Viala Vermorel ampelography. And Cazaux-Cazalet in that book says that it seems to be impossible to find the origin of Sauvignon because it has been grown for a long time ago in southwest of France, in west part of France, and also in center of France. So they said at this time that it is not possible to say if it is coming from Bordeaux area or southwest or Loire Valley. But now we have with progress in genetic and DNA analysis, we may have some new data which may explain a little bit more the origin of the Sauvignon. And here I present to you all the kinship group, that is to say all the siblings which are coming from the Savagnin, which is a very important genitor. And so you can see that all these grapes, all these varieties, you have to consider that they are half sibs. And so you can see that Sauvignon has many half sibs, like Chenin or Chenin in Val-de-Loire, but also some variety in Spain, like Verdejo Blanco. And some people who know the white one from Rueda can make some proximity between the taste of the white one from Rueda and the taste of Sauvignon Blanc. So, and it can be, for example, Verdejo Blanco can be a competitor in the future of Sauvignon because it's more or less the same taste, same kind of wine. So you can see, compared to other kinship group, this one is very scattered. You can find some siblings of Savagnin from Austria to all the region in France, and even in Spain and in Portugal. So it can give you just the relationship between Sauvignon and the other variety, but it cannot give any indication about the real origin of the Sauvignon. So the question is always the same, if I can say. Sauvignon may come from the Loire Valley or from southwest. If I can give you my opinion, I have some preference for the Loire Valley because the first code, so the first historical data come from this area. But you have to consider that Loire Valley, you see, it's that is to say the region of Orléans, Tours, Vendôme is completely different from the area from Sancerre and Pouilly, you see. It's quite far, even on a map, it seems to be close. But in France, it's definitively two different regions. So why I can say that? So it's not sure. I cannot be affirmative, of course, but there is no proof. But I think that the oldest reference which can be found come from this area. And also the diversity of the variety is maybe much more important in this area than in Bordeaux. So finally, the first name of this variety was obviously Fier or Fier. And the name of Sauvignon appeared first in the Bordeaux area. And after this name was considered like the prime name for this variety. So now a few words about the importance of this variety in France and in the world. So as you can see, 60 years ago, Sauvignon Blanc in France was about 14,000 acres. And after some difficulties due to the problem or the decrease of the market of the sweet wine, you see, we have to wait the end of the 70s to have a development of this variety, mostly with the varietal wine and the dry wine, compared to the sweet one, which were done before with the Sauvignon, especially in Bordeaux. And today, you can see that the development is very regular, constant. And today in France, so it's about 80,000 acres. You have 5 main regions for the development of this variety. Of course, the most recent development was in Languedoc, so south of France, and you can see it's relatively important now with 22 about 1,000 acres. And after you have the 4 other regions, that is to say Bordeaux, southwest of France, Loire-Vallée, and center of France, that is to say Pouilly, Sancerre. And these 4 regions are about 12 to 16,000 acres. What's happened in the world? So there is a very recent inquiry which have been done by OAVI. And so the data, I have modified some data, but adapted some data with some other documents. And so you can see that in this inquiry, we can find at least Sauvignon Blanc in 38 different countries. So we can say that it is an international variety, definitively. And within these 38 different countries, 8 of them are quite important, that is to say more than 10,000 acres. First France, then New Zealand, of course, Chile, South Africa, US, Australia, Romania, and Spain. And after you have 17 other countries with some acreage between 1,000 acres to 8,000 acres. So it's a medium important countries, and after some other one. So in total, if you do the sum, Sauvignon Blanc represents about today 316,000 acres in the world. So that's the 11th row cultivar between Uni Blanc and Red Globe, which is a table grape. And for comparison, for the moment, you can see that Chardonnay is quite more important, with more than 530,000 acres in the world. But finally, today, we can say that the Sauvignon is the 3rd white wine variety in the world after Chardonnay and Ayren, which is a Spanish variety. So a few and rapid word about the ampelographical description of this variety, because it is my hobby. So shoot tip, you can recognize the Chardonnay with this shoot tip, which presents a high density of white prostrate hairs during the spring, so that is to say now. The young leaves are usually yellow, but sometimes with a light brown spot. And the shoots, which are very typical, are totally green on the nodes and on the internodes. The leaves are small to moderate size. The blade is bumpy. We say also bubbled, if you prefer. And the blade is also twisted on the edge, and in French we say curly. That is relatively typical of the Sauvignon. And again, the vines and the pétiole are green, and the teeth are also relatively typical of this variety, and they are medium and convex or round if you prefer. The clusters are small or small to medium, according to the clone, for instance. And the bunches are very dense. It's characteristic. And also the peduncles are quite short for this variety compared to some other one. The berries are small, elliptic, and with a high density of bloom. Concerning the phenology, so the bud break of Sauvignon Blanc is medium or medium to late. That is to say about 8 days after Chardonnay. With growing degree days, in Celsius, starting from the 1st January and superior to 5 degrees Celsius, is about 320. And it is a second period variety concerning the maturity. That is to say, in France, about 1 week after Chardonnay. The thing is also very typical of the Sauvignon Blanc is shoot attitude, which is interesting. It's semi-erected to erected shoot attitude, so it's much more easier than Cabernet Sauvignon or Syrah, for instance. And the internodes are short and sometimes very short. And the consequence is that the density of the foliage is usually very high for the Sauvignon Blanc, as you can see on this slide. So the important point is the vigor of this variety. So it is a very vigorous variety. I'm sure that you know that. So all the training system. So the aim of the management of the training system is to try to control the vigor. Especially the first year after plantation. Now, usually the advice is to give a generous pruning just after the plantation to control the vigor, but of course, in the same time, you have to do some green harvest to have a good balance of the plant. And later, you have to control the number of shoots per meter with a good disbudding, and you have to usually to improve the microclimate of the cluster by leaf removal, and it may have some influence on the quality of the wine. We will see that a little bit later. Just to show you a few examples, here is the vineyard of Pouilly-Fumé or Sancerre, and as you know, in France there is a lot of rules and regulation, and so in this vineyard, the minimal density of vine is about 2,400 vines per acres. That is to say that usually the plantation is about 1.3 meter between the row and 1 meter or 1 meter to 1.20 meter between the vines. And you can make some cordon pruning or guyot pruning. In Bordeaux, you can differentiate the vineyard from Sauternes, for instance, from the vineyard which may give Bordeaux Blanc, a dry wine. And in Sauternes, the minimal density is of 2,600 vines per acres. Sometimes the space between the rows are a little bit more than in Sancerre or Pouilly. That is to say, it can be up to 1.9 meter between the row and 0.8 meter between the vines. And you can meet different training or pruning system. Sometimes the whole vineyard it's fan-shaped goblet or bush with 2 to 5 arms, but you can find also some guyot, a short guyot, or the Bordelaise pruning system, which two short canes of 5 buds. But in Bordeaux Blanc, usually the density is lower. It can be 1,600 vines per acres, and the space between the row is higher, about 2.5 meters between the row. In Languedoc, in southwest of France, the advice is to do some plantation with about 2,000 vines per acres. That is to say, with a space between the row of 2.25 meters between the row and about 1 meter or 0.9 meter between the vines on the row. Concerning the behavior and the cultural traits of Sauvignon, some point about the nutrients and the hydric requirements. And so I can say that it needs a well-balanced input of nitrogen and of water. In general, it's need not too much and not too small. So it is important especially for the nitrogen, to have a well-balanced supply, and especially with the development of the organic farming, you have to take care of the development of the weed, because sometimes you may have some nitrogen deficiency, which is not so good for the aroma. And also for the water, it needs some water, but not too much, if you don't want to have some problem with botrytis. Concerning the soil adaptation, that's the same. Usually the best result with Sauvignon in France are soil with intermediate fertility, so medium fertility. You can find some limestone, of course, in France, and more especially in Sancerre, for instance. Flint clays, soils, gravel and acid soils in Bordeaux, for example, and also you can have good result on Sauvignon on sandy and light texture soils, for instance, in different areas, and Bordeaux as well. So concerning the rootstock, the traditional advice for the rootstock is to try to control the vigor. So the advice is to use some low vigorous rootstock like Riparia Gloire de Montpellier, 10114, 3309 in the acid soils. But when you have some lime, you need to use some other one like 420A, 16149. But in France now, we cannot propose anymore this rootstock because we have some declines, some which are not explained for the moment. But before, by the past, it was a good rootstock. And of course, in the very lime style, we use 41B if you want more acidity and less sugar, or Fercal if you want more sugar and less acidity. But between the advice and the real life, there is sometimes some differences, as you know. And you can see that the grafted plant of the Sauvignon last year, or 2 years before, it was about 12,000 million of grafted plant in the nursery in France. So that is the Hayes variety grafted, or the third one for the white variety. And you can see that the two most important rootstocks that represent about 50% of the plant are SO4 and 3309. And with Fercal and Grafsac, you obtain about 75% of the plant. And after 41B, 10114, 110 Richter, and Paulsen for the south of France. Concerning the pests and the disease, you know also very well that the Sauvignon is very susceptible to bunch rot. That's why you have to improve the microclimate of the cluster. And in France, it is also very, very susceptible, so it's a very important issue for us, to wood disease like SK, Eutypa, Dieback. So there is a lot of missing plant in the vineyard of Sauvignon Blanc in France due to this disease. So it's a big issue for us. And it's a little bit sensitive to powdery mildew, but not very much to downy mildew. So it's easy for downy mildew generally. So we can say in summary that Sauvignon Blanc is a technical demanding cultivar, And usually it needs neither too much nor not much. And the vigor control is the main key point for this variety. Concerning the technological potential, so at the beginning, or by the past, maybe not at the beginning, but by the past, it was mostly used to do some sweet wine, like in Sauternes, excuse me. And in that case, it's usually blended with Sémillon and Muscadel, and there is no more than 30% of Sauvignon in the Sauternes wine. But now you see it's mostly used for dry wines, varietal wines, but also some blends with other varieties like Colombard, Gros Mansin, Uni Blanc, Chardonnay, Viognier, and also in Catalonia, and in Spain sometimes, with Parellada. And just a remark, because some ancient author says that it was used to blend with some red wine, and more especially with Cabernet Sauvignon and some Malbec, to give more elegant wine and to improve the taste of the wine. So it can be also interesting to know that. So concerning the aroma, thanks to John to present all the kind of aroma, so I can go quickly. So there is a few one, there is some others. Blackcurrant, of course, bud, boxwood, broom, cat pea, figs, citrus fruit, passion fruit, strawberry, flint. We call that also riflestone or mineral. And of course, for the New Zealand, aspergillus, grassy, and green pepper. It's a joke. So how can we manage this kind of aroma? Through the vineyard management and the training system. So it's very interesting for that. As it is very well known now, you know that the methoxyperazine decrease with the ripening, but it decreases also with the temperature, with high temperature, but also with leaf removal. That is to say, the influence of the light is important to decrease the quantity of methoxyperazine. So according to the location where you grow the Sauvignon, and according to the leaf removal, you can decrease or you can maintain more or less of this compound, which gives some green flavor. And concerning the cereals, which are important for the style of the wine, there is some result which have been obtained in Bordeaux by Xavier Chaumet at the early 2000s. And he demonstrates that moderate water stress may increase the content of cereal precursors, and more especially the 4-MPP and the 3-MH. Concerning the nitrogen supply, the same colleagues demonstrate also that deficiency in nitrogen in the soil decrease the quantity of all the soil molecules. But you have to be careful, because in the opposite, if you bring too much nitrogen, you may have some special aroma which are not very good, and which are due to some higher alcohol, which are called also fusel alcohol, and they are due to the transformation of a big amount of amino acid during the fermentation. And so these aroma are not very appreciated usually. So again, it's a balance between not too much and not too small, not too low. So finally, in the vineyard in France, some people are doing some pulverization to bring some nitrogen and some sulfur with the aim to increase the amount of precursor of the cereal. And my colleague Thierry Dufourc does this experimentation a few years before. And the advice is to do 2 treatments. The first one at the beginning of the veraison, and the second one 8 to 10 days after, excuse me. And the quantity of nitrogen is about 2 to 4 kilograms per acres, and 1 to 2 kilograms per acre of sulfur. with about 80 liters to 160 liters of pulverization per acres. And so the idea is to bring some sulfur and to nitrogen without to favorize or to develop or to increase the vigor. And you have to do that so when the growth is almost finished, that is to say at the veraison time. And we already talked about that, but again, with organic viticulture, you have to take care at the use of the copper because you may have more oxidation, and these compounds are very susceptible with oxidation, and so it can be an issue to control the downy mildew at the end of the cycle with Sauvignon Blanc if you are doing some organic viticulture. Just a compliment concerning the Sauvignon Gris, just a short point. 30 years ago in France, there was no Sauvignon Gris. It was just a few plants in the vineyard. And now it's become a little bit more important. It represents today about 2,700 acres in France, so it's not too much compared to the Sauvignon Blanc, of course. But I know that it is also planted here in California and in US, but I don't have the acreage of this variety. So Sauvignon Gris usually is less fertile and less productive than Sauvignon Blanc, and the acidity is lower, but the aroma are usually more intense. And Sauvignon Rouge, as I told you before, for the moment it's not used. Maybe one day some people will be interested by, not to do a real red wine, but maybe to do some rosé. It could be an opportunity. So now, before to finish, a few words, of course, about the clonal selection program in France. So we have two generations of clones. The first one, so the oldest one, the idea was the first oldest generation. The idea was to obtain healthy clone and with a good level of production and regular production. And the second one, so a few years later, was to improve the clonal diversity and to get earlier clone with lower production and more tolerant to botrytis. So it can be interesting to know that the clones are coming from 3 different regions in France. So in red you have the origin coming from Sancerre and Quincy, that is to say center of France. For instance, you have the clone 159 and 50 and 530. You have some clones from Touraine, that is to say the middle Loire Valley. For instance, 241, 242, 376, and finally the third region of origin of the clone is Bordeaux, of course, with 108 and 905 and 906. Actually, in France, there is 20 clones are certified for Sauvignon Blanc. But as you can see, 4 of them are very important and they represent 50% of the plantation. And they are 108, 242, 242, 905, and 376. And after you have 159 and 530. It is important to note that before 316 and 317 were more important, but as they were with leaf roll type 2, now they are not used anymore and the importance of this clone decreased. So a few results, maybe you already know this result, they are relatively old now, just to show you that the difference of production between the 242, this is a trial in Loire Valley, which is more productive, and 530, which with a higher alcohol and much less fertile, and it is an early clone. Another trial in Bordeaux, and you can see again that the 905, 906, and the grey clone 917, grey clone of Sauvignon, or Sauvignon Grey, are less fertile than 108 and 242. But in the same time, this clone 905, 906, and 97 are less susceptible or less sensitive to botrytis. That's why they are quite successful now in the plantation. And the last trial has been done in the south of France, so close to Montpellier. And again, you can see that the fertility of the Sauvignon Gris is very low, and 241 has a good fertility and a good production, quite relatively high production. And so the size of the cluster of the night 17, so Sauvignon Gris, are also very small. And these trials, the best clone for the testing were 906 and 905 and the Sauvignon Gris. So here you have the synthetic result. You can find this information on the Plant Grape website. And you can see so the low fertile clone with a higher content, sugar content with 530, 906. But the most popular clone are in the middle of the diagram, that are 242 and 108. And so finally these clones are in the average and they are quite a good clone. That's the synthetic comment that usually we are doing for this clone. So 108 is relatively aromatic and gives typical wines, and is still very appreciated by the growers. 159 is also aromatic, but sometimes the acidity is relatively low, so you have to put it in cool area, cool region. 242 is balanced, typical wines, and sometimes you need to control the yield because it's relatively productive. 297 give typical wine, and sometimes the bunches or the cluster are less dense, so it can be interesting concerning the botrytis. And 530 is more or less like the 159, so it's early, and it's more used in the north part of France, it's cooler area. And 905 and 906 are early and very aromatic and less sensitive to bunch rot. So you can see that there is only 2 generations of clone for Sauvignon Blanc in France, so it's not so good. But however, we did also an important work to try to maintain and to preserve the clonal diversity. And we did the last 20 years several local, we call that local repositories in Loire-Vallée and also in Bordeaux. And you can find some information on this website, BioWeb Supagro-INRA. So there is some repository in Loire-Vallée and also in Bordeaux. And of course, in our collection in Vassal, close to Montpellier, and in the Espiguet repository, which belongs to IFV. And to be complete, there is now also a private repository in Sauternes area, which is held by Château Guiraud in Sauternes. So in total, it's about a little bit more than 500 different accessions, which are held in the repository in France now. And it is, can be interesting to note that some of these repositories can now be used as mother vines to produce grafted plant under a special label, which is called biodiversity vine. That means vine biodiversity or biodiversity vine, because some people are asking for more diversity and for massal selection, and so this repository can be used for that. But to my opinion, there is still a need to complete these repositories with more diverse origin, because these repositories are essential for the future clonal selection programs. And there is a need also to a next generation of clone in relationship with the climate change, even if not everybody believes in it. It's a joke. Excuse me. And we need some later clone, I think, and always aromatic clone, and with a better, very good level of acidity, because for us, we think it's the typicity of the wine of Sauvignon. And also, there is a quite important demand in Sauvignon Gris, and so I think we need more clone of Sauvignon Gris. Just before to end, I presented to you before that the genealogy of the Savagnin, excuse me, with many siblings. But you have to know that also Sauvignon has been used as genitor. For the moment, it's not so successful than Savagnin, but however, as you know, with the Cabernet Franc, it gave the Cabernet Sauvignon, which is quite a big success. And by the past, there was some research done in Hungary and also in INRA of Bordeaux by crossing Sauvignon with Arcevelu or with a local variety from southwest of France, Raffia de Montcade. But this new variety were not very successful. But now you see the last few years, there is a new release from Germany, from Czech Republic, and from Italy. And these new releases are coming from crosses between Sauvignon and Riesling in Germany. And they call that Sauvignon Sita, Sauvignon Green, Sauvignon Sari. And in Czech Republic, Sauvignon Super. And more recently, some Italian team did some interspecific crossing with Sauvignon, and they call that Sauvignon Ritos, Sauvignon Kretos, and Sauvignon Nepis. That's Greek name. So don't ask to me why, but it's like that. I cannot understand why the Italian people take some Greek name, but we have some discussion in France and in Europe because some people don't, like me, think that it is not very fair. It can be very confusing in the future to use the name of a traditional variety to make a new one, because of course the typicity and the quality of this new variety are not the same than the former and the true to type Sauvignon. But you see there is now 7 different Sauvignons, so it can be very confused for the grower, for the nurseryman, and also for the consumers. But in the opposite, all the people from marketing ask for such a name, because for them it's much more easier to sell a bottle if there is something which is on the label, which is called Sauvignon Super, of course. But for the consumer, it can be an issue, I think. So we will see in the future. So I will finish with my conclusion. So just to summarize and to say that Sauvignon became now the 3rd white wine variety in the world with more than 300,000 acres. So it's important. And according to its etymology, Sauvignon can be qualified as a wild grape, difficult to tame. So it offers opportunities of very diverse style of wines. So that is very important for me. And the choice of the terroir and the choice of the vineyard management influence very much the quality and the style of the wines. So it is important to understand that one part of the job can be done in the vineyard. And Sauvignon, I think, is appreciated by the young generations of consumers. That is one we can say that the future is before it and belongs to it. Thank you very much.